This isn't going to be super long, but I felt that urging that I get in my stomach that I had to do this and speak on it. So I'm going to make this quick because I have to go to work, I have to walk to work and walk home. So I guess I'm punishing myself these days again. I don't know. Anyways, sit still, little girl. I wanted to come on here real quick and go over a couple of things quickly. So my testimony when it started and I got back from Florida, when it like really kicked into high gear after the dreams had started and all that, alleged dreams, encounters, whatever. I want to say that I attribute some of this to being spiritual. Well, it's all spiritual warfare. I want to say that some of it I attribute to technology and some of it I attribute to either a higher technology we just don't understand and have to rewrite our framework for the word and definition of technology, or supernatural causes, paranormal, something in the ether, which Einstein himself studied. These are not foreign concepts, although this lower level echelon that seems to be taking over this mindset is very base and very materialistic. So I don't even know how to speak anymore on certain topics, but I'll just keep pushing forward. So when everything began and this person came into our lives who was from the Hollywood industry and had come from LA but did not live there, well, I guess he lived all over. I called him Diablo. He taught my husband how to do tattoos when no one else was around and there was no witnesses. He told me he was a fallen one. I thought he was out of his mind. And it turns out he probably wasn't, and I gave him permission without knowing it to enter my family. I had no idea what was even being said other than falling back on my healthcare training to just kind of appease that person and say, sure, okay, yeah, all right. It was before I was as well read as I am today about some things and as experienced with them. This is important for what I'm about to tell you. Las Vegas was a very big theme for him. He also did not like to be around people when they were eating. He did not want to see your teeth or your mouth. It went beyond manners. I guess there's an actual diagnosis for this thing. And again, all of these things he's telling me end up representing the masks and different things that are happening in the public. And for whatever reason, he knew that I would one day understand them, that like my subconscious would sort them out. And I think this is why I feel like God asked me to witness about this stuff, is because my mind is made a certain way and it hasn't always served me well in the world, but with spiritual things and with intuition and with trying to warn people or guide people in that way, when I pay attention to that inner knowing that I call it God, he doesn't mislead me. So I'm trying to pass this stuff on to you. And again, I tried to build trust with the other channel. I've been at this pretty much steady for almost 4 years now. So I am tired, but I'll carry on with it. So Las Vegas was a big theme for him. He did not really care for women. He, for whatever reason, very symbolically threw the bull at me. I've had the rat thrown in my face and like passed around. Birth certificates were a big thing at one point. And hypnotism comes into this, and so does psychology in a really big way. And people will say, well, why would all these things happen around you? And why should we believe you? How do we know that you're not crazy? You don't have to listen to me. You don't have to believe me, quite obviously. But why would I put myself out there like this and make myself a target of just foul, nasty little devious things that are done to me on a daily basis that no one else would understand anyways? I mean, I don't do this for my health. So this person, Las Vegas, was a big theme for them. And I started doing that research into the Holy City, and I started looking at the Bible as a map, and I started telling people I think that we were lied to. I think America is in the Bible. I think it was a riddle all along, and I think the riddle was we just weren't called America. I'm not going to argue this. This is where I am now with my current knowledge base. If that changes in the future, of course, I will let you know and do a self-correction on that. I think Skull Rock, I showed you Skull Rock. And I think it makes sense that on one hand, the church wouldn't want you to know where Christ really was and where he walked and stuff because they don't want those areas to be decimated. And the other one would want to make a mockery of it. So instead of it being the holy city, now it would be called Sin City. And then I remembered that in the stand, it really is Sin City, Las Vegas, where the Antichrist is based. So then I'm really paying attention, right? And I'm watching Las Vegas, seeing what's going on down there. And I'm seeing a lot of movement. This thing called the Sphere was built down there, this new age laser type show, but it's more than that. It's basically showing you what the dome is. It's showing you that it's a kind of projector. It acts as a projector, okay? And we're inside of it, though, instead of being on the outside of it. It's like a show put on just for us. I'm not going to get too deep into that right now. Anyways, all these things. We've looked at Black Goo, all the stuff, and the LDS Mormon Church kept coming up again and again and again, and I'm really wanting to like these people, and I really feel like they have some truth. The problem is you see the polygamy crop up, and when you see things like that start to rear their nasty heads, you know that somewhere in the root something was bad in the soil. Just like John D, whenever you see the wife swapping and partner swapping, it's bad mojo. It might do good things for them materialistically. They may get money, they may get fame. Their health will really decline. Their spiritual health will decline. Their behavior, their morals. You know, we've seen this is all happening around us. I don't have to tell you. The point being, all of this stuff was forecast to me and shown to me because somebody knew that I would one day figure it out and I would blab about it like I am. But I'm doing that, hopefully trying to help people see, like, there are things happening around you that, number one, were planned. Number two, there are certain things occurring that could not possibly have been this coordinated by mankind. We're just not that. We just don't have it like that. I mean, look, we just don't. At least not the majority of us. So I really wanted to like the LDS Church. And I kept telling you, though, that I think the AC is going to be ecumenical, and then we found out that the makers of Angel Studios or Mormons, they're making all the religious films, they're making The Chosen, and they're making it with Catholics, right? I'm sure if I looked into the Passion of the Christ, it would be the same way. So you're seeing this kind of merging of brotherhoods, okay? I think the AC is not going to care so much about church per se. I think he's going to say he is God incarnate walking around, right? Like he's going to be so full of himself. And there's not supposed to be anyone here, but of course this video has to be interrupted, I'm sure. Anyways, I'm going to carry on. There's another temple. This allegedly will be the fourth one, but I count it as the third, okay? The first one, and I'm going to go over this in another video when I have more time, but I did the little research into this last night, and I'll post links when I get home later. This is supposed to be the fourth temple in the Nevada that's being built, but it's actually the third. The first one was the founders when they were pilgrims in that area. So it's actually the third temple. And I've told you, the third temple Christ was talking about when he says, I'll rebuild this temple in 3 days, was the body. Your body is the temple of God now because it holds the Holy Spirit now that Christ came down and gifted us with the Holy Spirit, okay? So your body is the temple. That's one iteration and true iteration of that verse. There's usually 3 meanings of each verse. So the next one would be prophetically speaking about a third physical temple. And they have everybody looking at Israel, looking at Israel, looking at Israel, watching Israel, watching Israel. Anytime they want us looking at something, we should be looking elsewhere. We should be looking here at home in America because we're being flim-flammed. Okay, it's a switcheroo. It's the old switcheroo. So this is actually the third physical temple that will be built of the LDS. It is a third temple going up in Sin City, which would be the perfect place for the Antichrist to make his I don't want to say resurrection, but maybe that will happen there. He probably is based there now. He just nobody knows about it. Um, so yeah, that's what I'm going with. Damien Eccles is also a person to watch. I hate to even mention that name because I know how people feel, but it's just the truth. When you open yourself up to certain things, and I'm going to show you something else too. These people do everything in reverse. They make their movies in reverse. They film the ends first. That's how I figured stuff out with the Slender Man, and I figured out that that wasn't fake. Some nasty young man was surveilling his best friend and brought demonic energies upon him because of this, because he knew he was being watched, but he thought he was going crazy, and he ended up hurting somebody because of it, or they made him think he hurt somebody, and then he had this downward spiral. And then you see the end, and they don't, again, you have to know what you're watching for the body types and the physiques and what's going on, but they're making the movies end to beginning, and that right there is a ritual in and of itself. So that's how the movie industry is operating too. It's all satanic. It's all backwards and inside out and inverted. Most of this you knew already. Some of it you might not have. These are things to watch. I wanted to make you aware. Now I'm going to go about my day and try to find joy wherever I may find it, in my walk to work and in the trees and the leaves and the grass and all the things that are green and blue and innocent and beautiful that are still left in this world, because there still is some. Oh, and the female basketball star, Caitlin, she looks a whole lot like a certain person I know that lives at an address with 222. Only he's a male. And I've told you all about the stories that I was told about these people, all right? And again, I think the things you see on the screen are most times proxies. And we know that holograms were a thing. How long ago? Gaga did a video about that, and she's doing a residency down there in Vegas. There's a lot of big names down there. There's a lot of things happening with this sphere, and now with the church. These are things that I think we should be paying attention to. Please pray. Pray, pray, pray. If you hear this and you're the praying kind, please pray over me and my children and their salvation and the protection of my furry friends. And I pray for you guys every day. And that's not a lie, because I do. I love you. Have a blessed day.